Now, today we're upgrading Meta AI with Llama, our new state-of-the-art AI model that we're open sourcing. And I'm going to go deeper on Llama 3 in just a minute, but the bottom line is that we believe that Meta AI is now the most intelligent AI assistant that you can freely use. To make Meta AI even smarter, we've also integrated real-time knowledge from Google and Bing right into the answer.
Have you heard about Meta's latest groundbreaking release? The Llama 3 model is finally here. The open source marvel is setting new standards for how AI can understand and respond to our questions. What makes it so special? We will let Mark Zuckerberg explain what's happening, and then we'll get into the details of what this new release is all about. You can now ask any question across their apps and glasses. The aim is to create the best AI in the world and make it accessible to everyone. The tech industry has proven that open source leads to better, safe, and more secure products. It speeds up innovation and creates a healthier market. Beyond just improving Meta's products, these models could help make progress in many areas. The team is also working on an even bigger model with more than 400 billion parts. To show you how good Llama 3 is, the first variant with 8 billion parts is almost as powerful as the biggest Llama 2 model. This variant of the 70 million model scores about 82 on a major reasoning and math test, while the 400 billion model scores around 85. The 400 billion model is still learning. There is a lot to take in because this release included more than many of us, ourselves included, expected. Let's start by looking at one of the first things he mentioned. The benchmarks are quite surprising. We can see that the performance of the Meta Llama 3 model in these tests is unexpected. The reason these benchmarks are surprising is because these models are state-of-the-art. This means they are the very best AI available right now. We can see that the Claude Sonnet was part of the Claude 3 family of large language models, but it looks like Meta's Llama 3 has surpassed it, which is quite surprising. We're not sure exactly how big Claude is. The industry is constantly changing in terms of who leads the market in benchmarks for different sizes and price points. For Meta and Llama 3, staying on top will be crucial because they keep improving and updating. Yes, we expected improvements, but it was quite surprising to see it surpassing even the Gemini 1.5 Pro in some benchmarks like the MMLU. And when you compare it to the other models of similar sizes, like those from Google, it's really impressive. Llama 3 clearly outperforms other models like Llama and Mistra 7b Instruct in terms of performance and overall ability. Right now, it looks like even companies like Mistel are struggling to keep up when it comes to launching large language models or AI systems that lead the pack in terms of performance. To be honest, this is quite surprising. One of the things they did was focusing on making performance better for real-world situations. To do this, they developed a new high-quality way to evaluate how well the model works from a human perspective. They created a new evaluation set with 1800 prompts that cover 12 important use cases. These include asking for advice, brainstorming, classifying information, answering specific questions, coding, creating writing, extracting information, and role-playing different characters. They developed an evaluation set with various tasks like asking open questions, reasoning, rewriting, and summarizing. To make sure our models don't just memorize the answers for this specific set, even our own modeling teams don't have access to it. This helps keep the testing fair and accurate. What they did was use a new human evaluation set, and we think this is really important. We have always said that since humans are the ones who use these products, they should be made to work well for people, not just perform well on tests. And that's what things like the LM leaderboards aim to do. They try to see which language model performs best because these models are used by real people. Ideally, this real-world use should be the standard benchmark that everyone tests their models against. Because in the end, what really matters is how people use the model in everyday life. It doesn't matter if a model scores well on tests like the MLU or GSM-AK if it's not practical for people to use daily for their needs. It matters unless it's designed for a very specific task. This is a good way to see how useful it really is. When we compare Llama 3 with other top models, one thing they did was test it against these models using human evaluations. We can see that Meta Llama 3 was tested against Claude Sonnet, and most of the time it performed better in the human evaluation. Llama 3 won 52% of the time, tied 12.9% of the time, and lost 34% of the time. Overall, even compared to other models like M-Raw Medium, the performance of Meta's Llama 3, which has 70 billion parameters, is really surprising. MeXR, also known as Mistra, is an AI company that releases everything as an open source. It's pretty crazy because they release things quite unexpectedly and don't give much prior notice. Mistra doesn't announce what they're working on. Instead, they suddenly provide a download link. you have to download their release first, then figure out what it is and how good it might be. Mistral can release anything at any time without much warning, and they don't usually write a blog post about it. You have to test and benchmark it yourself to see how good it is. They're a leading open source AI company, and honestly, they deserve a lot of credit for their approach. Mistral deserves praise because unlike Meta, they aren't backed by a huge company with billions of dollars. Sure, they recently raised $2 billion, but Meta is a multi-billion-dollar company. So even though Mistral doesn't have as much money as Meta, it's impressive that they still managed to do a lot better in some areas. Even if it's just slightly better, it's surprising that they can compete with a giant like Meta. In terms of how it's built, Llama 3 has some interesting features. It uses a tokenizer with a vocabulary of 128,000 tokens, which makes it much more efficient at understanding language. Llama 3's performance is also much better because of how it processes language. Plus, the training data used for Llama 3 is quite fascinating. People are always curious to know what information was used to train a model, and Llama 3 comes pre-trained with interesting data. Llama 3 was trained on over 5 trillion tokens gathered from sources that anyone can access. The dataset used is 7 times larger than the one for Llama 2, and it includes 4 times more code. Over 5% of the data used to train Llama 3 includes high-quality information in languages other than English, covering more than 30 languages. However, they don't expect it to perform as well in these languages as it does in English. As of the last update on April 15, 2024, Meta's Llama 3 model, which is still in training, is quite powerful. The benchmarks are especially surprising because Meta has never before trained a model this large. In a table by Jim Fan, it's stated that the upcoming Llama 3 model will be a significant milestone. It's like getting open access to a GPT-4 class model. This will be a game changer for many research projects and small startups. We looked at the numbers for Claude 3 Alpha's GPT's recent model, which is GPT-4 2024, 0409 and Gemini. It says that Llama 3, the 400 billion model, is still in training and should improve even more in next few months. The tech ecosystem is set to evolve significantly from this point on, thanks to the release of Llama 3. This is why we think it's going to be pretty groundbreaking. It's basically like having an open source version of GPT-4, which will be available in the next few months. The way Meta handles their model as it gets smarter will be interesting, but honestly the performance shown in the table is quite surprising. On the MMLU benchmark, it surpasses other models. In human evaluation, it's on par with the best. The model does fall a bit short on math benchmarks, but like they mentioned, it's still in training, so it's likely to get even better. They also made a new website which wasn't just about the technical details. They've set up a new website so you can access this model. However, if you're in the EU and especially in the UK, you won't be able to use this page right now due to certain rules and regulations. It's going to be interesting to see how this new model works because, as mentioned, it can do a lot of different things like create animations and images. So for those looking to use it now, there are many possibilities to explore. Due to various rules, those of us in Europe and the UK often experience delays in AI releases. Are you excited about the open source community giving us access to something like a GPT-4 in the future? Are you ready to try Meta AI? Let us know what you think. Also, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button.